Mr. Everett Mendiola III, what your pastor and the church at large won't talk about. You go ahead and go there, because you should know the theme by now. You know why they won't. The apostle, prophet, preacher, teacher, and evangelist. Yeah, the whole slew of them. They'd have to admit that they are definitely in a state of being mental. You think I'm joking? I can prove it. Oh, I can prove it for you heresy hunters. They can't wait to try to find me, catch me, corner me in a lie, as they would Yeshua HaMashiach, or let's say the spoken word. Yeah, scripture says, even Yeshua speaking, the spoken word, that whatever the Pharisees and the Sadducees, even the spiritual elite, instruct you to do in the synagogue or the local place of worship, do as they say. Every jot and tittle, because they do know the word, line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little, the whole gospel, per se. He says, obey them. Trust what they are saying. To that degree, the spiritual elite, not just any old fool wanting to make a quick buck, pretending to be what they're not, and asking you to put your best in the offering plate because you ain't never heard it like this. Yeah. If they ain't never heard it like this, you really got to bring it. If they really never heard it like this. Because if they find it out somewhere else, they're going to know you were a lie. But he says, do as they instruct you to do. But what you don't want to do, it goes further, is do as they do personally. Why? Because it's written that they don't even follow the words of that magnitude. And you're going to tell me that's not mental? Do as I say, but don't do as I do. Can you hear me now? So we're going to leave them in a second, but not before giving them another blow. That was the left. This one's going to be a right. And then afterward, good night. They're going to hit the canvas. They know it's true. See, here's another. See, they do the same thing day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out. What is that? The clergy? They lie to you. And then they somehow delusionally, and fantastically expect change from you. At least that's what they've been telling you when you hit that altar, just about the whole 450 of you at the altar, because since day one, ain't none of you has really changed. Oh, there may have been some improvements in your life, but you have not ultimately, literally, utterly changed as they say that you could and you would if you'd put your seed for your need. Yeah, sow a seed for your need, because you reap what you sow. And most of you are down and out, broke, busted, and disgusted spiritually, because what you have sown into is corrupted, tainted, demonic soil where nothing can grow. You see what I just said? I'm going to leave them alone for now. because they've wasted 4 gallons of olive oil on you through the years and you ain't no better. They have made 400,000 altar calls in the last few years and ain't nobody any better. The only ones that look better, look like they're progressing and going further and further up the social, financial, and corporate ladder are the clergy. Not you. Not you. Not you and you. Oh, yes. So that's why I say, you know they're mental. But let's leave them alone for now, because they're licking their wounds right about now. I said they're licking their wounds right about now. Let's leave them alone. They're licking their wounds right about now. I guarantee you that they are licking their wounds right about now, because this is something that they face day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out, just as I said. And this is the insanity of it, doing the same thing over and over and over and over, expecting change. But the reality is they do not expect you to change, but their their whole situation to change. And really, the focal point in their particular changing is just financial, as I said. But you already know this. And your insanity is you keep going to the same local place of worship expecting change on the for real, on the real, for real, but ain't never gonna happen. Because you just, in that Stockholm syndrome, you're supporting your captor, and your captor has you hooked, baby. Yeah, hook, line, and sinker. This Sunday, go ahead and pat your pastor and first lady on the back. Give them a sloppy kiss and a hug. And then pat yourself on the back for being mental just like them and continuing in that same old nonsense. Do you have a mental illness? Look, it's no game. The rapper's spitting it out right now about his own mental issues. Well, I would dare say we all have some sort of mental issue, especially the secular who hasn't come to the saving grace and the knowledge of the Creator and the sacrificial atonement offered freely, so to speak. I can't imagine anyone in this world not knowing of this sacrificial atonement, because via the worldwide demonic web, it has been preached around the world so far deep in the Amazon that they're singing hallelujahs just about right now. Revelate black to me because I'm revelating black to you. I said, do you have? I've asked cordially. I'm asking again, do you have a mental illness? Because if you think you don't, I promise you we all do. Even the spiritually correct, even me, that day in, day out, the spirit worked against the flesh and the flesh against the spirit. And we have to take hold of the strong man and whatever his label is and bring him down to the ground. And you know how? Not only by the word, but by revelation, because that's the situation for this melanation nation. That is how we commune with Yah on the floor, upon our beds, couches, chairs, and in our vehicles, in the bathroom, the front room, the kitchen, the dining room, the attic, the basement. It doesn't matter where, but we've got to get a hold of our Creator, because we know that in no other name is there help. Having a mental illness is real, But if you look at it from a psychological standpoint, and if you go to a psychiatrist, well, you've already failed. I'm not saying that there's not chemical imbalances. I'm not saying there hasn't been childhood trauma. I'm not saying there hasn't been adolescent, young adult, middle age, senior citizen trauma of some sort. Could have been a robbery, could have been a rape, could have been verbal abuse, could be the society, could be a host of things. But they'll call you bipolar. They will call you manic depressive. They will call you dissociative with that particular disorder. They will call you one that has multiple personalities. They will call you one that has mania. They will even call you unipolar. They will label you with everything they possibly can and then give you a host of prescriptions. And when they don't work, they'll up the dosage. And when the dosage does not work, they'll try a new remedy, which will land you in a straitjacket and a closed head lobotomy. Shall we say shock treatment? Yeah. Well, you could try weed for medicinal, psychological purposes, but the situation is grim if you go that route. And when you're through spending all that money, or you got help through Medicaid and whatever other insurance that just happens to be there being handed out to you by the government, which won't pay for everything, then you'll find that your problem is not really psychological, but it indeed is mental, only when we think of what Satan has done to your mind, and that's rape it, because you've opened up a door. I'm trying to tell you it's a spiritual situation, not a psychological one. And if it feels like it is, it's simply because Satan has been allowed to rape and ravage your mind. And that could be childhood, that could be adolescence, that could be young adult, that could be middle age, that could be a senior citizen. We never know when these particular moments are going to strike. It doesn't even have to be by your doing. It could be some massive catastrophic event that takes place. But one thing for sure, if you chalk it up as just psychological, you have failed. Because if there's one thing the enemy does, he fucks with your mental capacity intertwined with your spiritual capacity. And if you're not saved, you're a sitting duck, baby. And if you are saved, it doesn't mean that you're immune from this situation. It doesn't mean that you are not going to be affected by what he does and brings. So do you have a mental illness? Check to see if it's not spiritual before psychological. Now don't mistake it, as I said, mental. Don't mistake it, as I said, mentally. Because the only mental part of it is where Satan has been allowed to come in and absolutely kill, steal, and destroy it to where he's thinking for you. And that's why you're so depressed. That's why you're so full of sorrow and anguish. That's why you're so sad, angry, and violent. Because he's taken hold of your life via what you have allowed directly or indirectly. But today you can cry out to Yah. Yes, you can. Because is his arm so short, as it is written, that it cannot reach down into the depths of hell where you are and save you? Yeah, he can if you got the want to. Get the want to. Aren't you tired of suffering and losing everything? You've done lost your mind. Find it by finding the mind of Christ today. Cry out to him. I guarantee you he's waiting on you. He's listening. Are you listening? Safe be.